Gilmer County and our issues. Dr. Simmons, you mentioned the intercounty governmental or governance of the intercounty schools. I would like to say to you that I have spoken to several members in Charleston, and Senator Facemeyer, Ron Vergali, and Richard Iaquinta are very supportive of such legislation and would be willing to help institute. I realize you're all working on it, but I wanted to bring those names to your attention. They have voice support for such legislation. Let me see where I'm at here. I don't want to cry over these children. I've cried too long over them. God love them. You spoke of the superintendent, the state superintendent being handled. However, at that last meeting, Mr. Fairs was placed as interim superintendent, and the indication was that they would be going to a nationwide search. Priscilla Hayden brought out that would be a $100,000 cost, while Lloyd Jackson spoke at length about it because they wanted to have the requirements for our superintendent reduced. And Mr. Jackson spoke at length in the fact that that would take months. I find that shocking. I think that's unacceptable. West Virginia and these children do not deserve to have its state superintendent the requirements reduced by any means, no means. I cannot support it as an individual. I don't think you should support it as a group. However, this is up to your conscience. I just don't think that it's right, and I don't see how you can do that to say to make it easier to hire someone. No. These kids don't deserve that. Our citizens, our kids are first class, and they deserve first class treatment for every single one of them, and they deserve no less. I cannot support it. I wanted to ask Mr. Blankenship if he has, at the board meeting, I'm sure he doesn't have it with him, wouldn't be that fortunate, a copy of the new modified CEFP that was sent down to the SBA, or would that be available at the board should I choose to go ask for a copy? I wanted to say to you that I don't support the high school being with the location of the elementary school. I understand, although we've never agreed on the, I'll never agree with the one school. I firmly agree that Gilmer County needs 2 elementary schools, but it is what it is. I have fought it, you know, and I can accept when I cannot achieve a goal. However, that location that was selected, I will say this about it, it is equidistant for travel. I don't honestly believe that in reality you can bring the children bordering Braxton or Calhoun-Braxton from either end in strictly within the timelines, to be quite honest. That's one reason I really felt we needed 2 schools. Still do, but it is what it is. But on the other hand, I don't support putting the high school over there either. Basically because I don't think, first off, I don't want to put all of our children in one basket. I don't want them all to be in one place, because you may have good things happen, but one tragedy, one tornado, something major that we can't even foresee, and we can hide our head in the sand about things that happen in other, you know, states and everything, and pretend it will never happen here. But they'll all be sitting there in one area. I'm not real fond of that. I don't think it's very smart. I don't think that the younger children need to be exposed on the bus ride to the high school children. I don't feel that emotionally we're giving them time to become who they are as elementary students. I don't think we need 14-year-olds dating seniors. It happens. It's a fact in this county. I don't think we need 11-year-olds thinking that they need to be hot to be popular. I don't think we're taking into consideration the psychology of the children, which is hand in hand with their education. I would like to see that reconsidered and really seriously thought about. At some point, will this high school need to be modernized? Certainly. Do they deserve the best? You're darn right. I just don't feel that the 2 schools need to be on the same site, and I really do think it needs to be reconsidered. And because the high school has more time, more flexibility under law, I do feel you have an option of putting them out here and having access to the college, which is important for a high school level set of students, and the Career Center. These things all need to be taken into consideration, and I'm sure the board will do so. At least I hope so. I'm sure we haven't heard anything from the SBA yet as to whether or not. MIP, may I ask, is that Master Improvement Plan? What is that? I'm not familiar with MIP. Major Improvement Plan. Okay, now you say we don't have one. Does that have to do with the building approval, or is this a totally separate item? I'm not familiar with it. I thought he said it was not approved. Right, was not approved. Okay. That's what. So you will go back again, Mr. Blankenship? Is that how that is handled?
They allow projects every year.
Right.
And that we submitted a request for HVAC upgrade here.
Oh, okay. I see. Okay. That would have handled a lot of the mold issues that you've been dealing with. Let me see, was there anything else I really wanted to speak on? Oh, I did want to ask, does the state own the regional school in Lewis County, or does Lewis County own that building, that property? How was that deeded? It was deeded to Lewis County. Okay. Well, thank you very much. That pretty much answers the...
That's not what the law says, but that's what...
Right. I thought it being well, of course, it really isn't a regional school. It's an inter-county, but I did think that perhaps the state owned that building.
Yes.
But then again, I thought the state owned Calhoun, apparently, Calhoun-Gilmer, and apparently not. So
The law says you...
that's a live and learn thing.
Your cost
I think that basically covers what I wanted to know this evening. Thank you so much.
I can move over to the front seat to say this, Mr. Blankenship, but would you please make it known to the newspaper that the building is not going to cost $1,800,000, the building's going to cost $13,000, it should not be able this year. I don't want the people thinking we will only need $1,800,000 to build that building.
I have no idea what you're talking about, fellas.
Democrat.
Oh, Dave Corcoran corrected his figures. Yeah.
I took him a
No,
copy.
he corrected them
Yeah,
wrong.
but they were
That's what
wrong.
I'm saying.
I took him a copy today.
He
Okay.
corrected them.
You wanted to
He
ask them
corrected
about
the
why they
last
just
one,
said
and he
K to
corrected it
6.
wrong. He said the building
Why
was
the hell is it
$1,800,000,
Oh, there was one more question.
and it's not. I don't.
I took him a copy of that report today, Mrs.
Did you,
Thurman. So he would know that
Well,
was for
you
sign.
know, folks, in the real world, I don't think any of us will
But he
ever live
corrected
to
it,
see a
made
new
it
high
even
school
worse.
built,
He made it
because
worse.
there simply is not money to do it. And I know Mr. Blankenship and I have talked, we have heard from the people at the Tax and Revenue Department, we have heard from the SBA, and I'm telling you folks, the money is going to be scarce.
Pray we hit Marcellus. For
Well,
gas
at
and oil
$2
service
a
tax.
thousand cubic feet, it isn't making anybody any money.
Well, gas and oil service tax, it would certainly help us in
But
county.
I really believe we have hit a point at which, unless counties can pass their excess levies to devote to school building, that building new schools, it's going to be very tough. I think we're going to need to be planning to use this building for a long, long time.
Have you heard the situation in Work County? Work County's county commission, and they operate their county with a $200,000 excess levy. It failed. They're going to rerun it in February. If it does not pass, they will have to close the court.
Well, we may be the only county in the state that successfully passed an excess levy or
Maybe we're
renewed.
pretty close to it, you know. But
But,
it
you
is
know,
what it is.
the landscape has changed with regard to money for new buildings. And I think, you know, bonds are not yielding what they did at one time. The market's down.
well, the ARA money's gone.
The coal industry that has supported so much, the severance taxes are just not there, and it's going to get worse. Lottery down, gambling proceeds down, and, you know, it's a time when we're going to have to make the best use of what we have. And I think, you know, we want this new school. I always ask the question, what if the SBA doesn't have funding? We've been given a lot of promise, but, you know, I'm going to have to see the money first.
I say go back to the table for two,
Then
but that's
what
all
we need to do, we're going to have to go back to Plan B. You know, what do we do in the event that there is not funding? And that's always an eventuality. And I think we have to remain flexible, and we have to remain creative in how we handle it.
May I ask one more question? Because it did confuse me on the report that I saw. Why does it say K through, at that time, from the architect, or not the architect, but his subcontractors, the site prep cost for the 6 sites that were on it? Why does it say K through 6? Although I know the architect later said possibly K through 8. But was that an error that it does not say pre-K, just simply a typo?
Yes, sir.
Pre-K will be at the school.
It does say it in that book. I just showed it to her. It says K through 8.
Okay.
It says K through 8 on this, but that's what I
Well,
was
you
saying.
know, this is interesting, and I hope maybe at a point we can begin to have some public forums where we can discuss. I'd like to see parents and some teachers and other folks come and, you know, express some ideas. And Mr. Blankenship and I have discussed the possibility of our board meeting with the teachers in the county to ask them how we can help them better do their jobs, and at the same time convey some of our vision for the future, our expectations, and I think it's time for some healthy dialogue. The next meeting, January 14th. What about the performance audit? Do we know when that's going to occur?
No, we don't. We're just trying to make sure that everybody's prepared for it.
Okay, and I'm assuming they will want to talk with the board, or will they?
Normally they do interviews with
Okay. Now, the other thing, and I think, Phyllis, you touched upon it, I'd just like to say that I would like to see us pursue those qualitative issues, some of them that we brought up earlier. I think we've had a wonderful lot of success in getting the excess levy renewed, and in selecting a school site, I think we've made great progress. I think now I'd like to look into the high level of remediation in some areas and see what we can do to fix it. I think I'm hearing cries all over the state, we need to do a better job. And so we can start here in Gilmer County. So if sometime in the near future we could get into some of those, I think it would be very beneficial for us. Do I hear a motion that we adjourn?
I make that motion.
Second?
Second.
Stand adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, Phyllis. Thank you.
Don't forget your coat on.
All right.
Put your coat on, buddy.
I'll get my hat.
I did my